धर्मार्थकामाणामुपदेशः समन्वितम् पूर्ववृत्तं कथायुक्तमितिहासम्.
Before cities, before kingdoms, stone tools shaped survival. Fire changed everything. Welcome to Stone Age India.
Imagine, just for a second, a world entirely before cities, before empires, way before written history. Millions of years ago, you wouldn't find grand palaces or paved roads here, just stones. But man, the incredible secrets those stones are holding. Welcome to our explainer. Today, we're unearthing India's ancient past. We're going to decode the very rocks and landscapes that literally shaped human history. We'll trace that wild journey of our ancestors from just barely surviving right up to the dawn of complex society. So, who actually walked this land millions of years before us? Long before the ancient texts and sprawling empires, who left those absolute first footprints in the dust of the Indian subcontinent? We're not just talking about a few thousand years ago here. We're peeling back the layers all the way to the Stone Age. This is that raw, deeply foundational period where our ancestors relied completely on stones, just shaping them, breaking them, and eventually mastering them to carve out an existence in what was an utterly wild, totally untamed world. Okay, let's dive right into this timeline. It's essentially a map of sheer human ingenuity. Think of these eras as monumental chapters. We kick things off way, way back, about 1.5 million years before the present, in the Paleolithic phase. That's the Old Stone Age, where nomadic hunter-gatherers are surviving against incredible odds. Then fast forward to around 10,000 years ago. The global climate warms up, and we hit the Mesolithic phase, which brings massive lifestyle changes. By 3000 BCE, boom, the Neolithic, or New Stone Age, completely revolutionizes human life. And finally, around 2000 BCE, the Chalcolithic Age brings metal into the mix. So there's the chronological map of our ancient evolution. Now, to find our very first major clue, we're heading south to Tamil Nadu, specifically a site called Attarampakam. And what archaeologists uncovered there? It's absolutely staggering. They found heavy quartzite tools dating back 1.5 million years. I mean, that is a massive breakthrough. It actually proves that early ancestors, like Homo erectus, crossed some incredibly formidable geographic barriers to reach southern Asia, almost right after these tools popped up in Africa. As nomadic hunter-gatherers, they were out there braving the wild, totally relying on these stone tools to fend off predators and just survive the day. So back in those early Paleolithic days, survival was pretty much all about the Achillean hand axe. These things were heavy, archaic tools chunked out of large rock flakes, perfect if you needed to do some crude chopping or just basic defense. But fast forward to about 10,000 years ago. The earth warms up, we enter the Mesolithic era, and the environment totally shifts. Suddenly, humans are hunting fast-moving forest game, and they adapt brilliantly. They invent microliths. We're talking tiny razor-sharp blades made of stones like agate. This literally transformed hunting. Instead of just swinging a heavy rock, they started attaching these tiny blades onto wood or bone. Suddenly, they've got composite, high-precision weapons. We're talking deadly arrows and harpoons, a real game changer. And that massive shift in climate and hunting tech? It takes our investigation straight into the heart of central India, Madhya Pradesh. You see, early humans started seeking refuge in these massive, natural sandstone rock shelters in the Vindhyan Hills. They needed secure spots to process their hunts, hide from the weather, and start forming semi-settled groups. And that basic need for shelter led them to what is arguably one of the most spectacular archives of prehistoric life anywhere in the world. I'm talking about Bhimbetka. At Bhimbetka, it's like the stones are practically speaking to us. Using natural pigments, think blood red hematite and green manganese, our ancestors literally painted their lived experiences right onto the cave walls. Now, what's really interesting here is that this isn't just some collection of basic stick figures. No way. You're looking at vibrant communal dances. You see hunters on horseback from later periods, and these incredibly majestic wild beasts, tigers, bison, elephants, all drawn with stunning anatomical detail. It's a living, breathing canvas of ancient culture, showing us exactly what their daily lives and surroundings looked like. But here's the kicker. These artworks weren't just random doodles. They were deep expressions of prehistoric spirituality and early symbolism. Even the hunting scenes carry this heavy ritualistic weight, and you'll often see shamans prominently depicted leading the group. And then there's a massive anomaly that completely baffles experts to this day. There is a Mesolithic painting of a two-horned rhinoceros in the Erden Cave. Now, why is that weird? Because the only Asiatic two-horned rhino is the Sumatran rhino. So what does this mean? It strongly hints at ancient human migration stretching all the way from Southeast Asia. These guys were painting from a vast, rich pool of ancestral memory gathered over thousands of miles. Just mind-blowing. Okay, so from those vivid painted caves in central India, our trail heads way up north. We're going to the freezing, absolutely beautiful Kashmir Valley during the 3rd millennium BCE. Specifically, we're looking at a mysterious Neolithic settlement called Burzahom. Now, the climate up here, it was brutal. Windy, freezing, totally unforgiving. Just finding a natural rock shelter wasn't going to cut it anymore. Surviving this environment demanded a whole new level of human ingenuity and complex structural planning. To conquer those freezing winds, the people of Burzahom quite literally went underground. First off, they'd pick out these commanding terraces that overlook the lakes. Then, they cleared out the dense forests using polished stone axes. But here is the most impressive part. They used stone adzes to physically chop and dig subterranean pit dwellings right through the rock-hard Karewa soil. I mean, think about how grueling and exhausting that must have been. And finally, to insulate themselves against the freeze, they actually crafted specialized bone needles to meticulously stitch animal skins together for warmth. It's just a pure triumph of sheer physical willpower over harsh nature. What we see happening at Burzahom perfectly captures what we call the Neolithic Revolution. This is the exact moment our ancestors transformed from wandering hunter-gatherers into settled farmers. We're talking about the dawn of the very first permanent villages in India. They successfully started cultivating crops like wheat, barley, and lentils, finally securing a stable food source. They domesticated dogs, sheep, and cattle. They even started crafting this beautiful burnished gray pottery to store all that harvest. Plus, they erected these massive stone pillars, called menhirs, to honor their dead. It really marks the birth of complex social rituals and true permanent community living. So the crucial point we're looking at here is a monumental leap in technology. We transition out of the pure stone reliance of the Neolithic age, where people mostly lived in small, pretty isolated villages, and we step into the Chalcolithic age. Now, chalco means copper, and lithic means stone, so copper, stone. By mixing early copper metallurgy with their polished stone tools, humans radically boosted their farming productivity. They got way better at shaping their environment, and that newfound efficiency, it allowed them to grow from tiny little hamlets into really robust, highly developed rural settlements. And this brilliant shift highlights the final evolutionary phase right before the major urban civilizations really took over. We start seeing these sprawling clusters of circular mud houses. They had domestic hearths, built-in silos for storage, and it's all existing right alongside this stunning, well-baked red and black painted pottery. These Chalcolithic communities were highly organized. They practiced slash-and-burn agriculture, they raised massive herds of cattle and sheep for meat, and they safely stored all their surplus crops in those beautifully crafted clay vessels. Ultimately, everything we've uncovered today leads us to one foundational truth. This Copperstone Age laid the absolute groundwork for complex modern societies. The moment you introduce early metallurgy, organized farming, and regional trade networks, you are building a direct bridge to the great civilizations that followed. This is literally the foundation for the incredible Indus Valley civilization. These early communities thrived, and they adapted relentlessly, right up until shifting climates and new trade dynamics gracefully forced them to merge into the Iron Age. As we wrap up our investigation today, it really leaves you with a profound sense of wonder, doesn't it? Think about it. Millions of years from now, long after our own sprawling cities and modern lives have been totally reclaimed by time, a new generation is going to dig into this exact same soil. In another 10,000 years, what secrets will the Earth whisper about us? What strange artifacts or traces of our daily existence will become just another layer of history waiting to be discovered? Well, something to chew on. Until next time, keep digging and keep...
To uncover more hidden stories of history, make sure to like, share, and subscribe.